I'm Cecelia Tichi, T-I-C-H-I, and I'm the author of the Val and Roddy Gilded series of mystery novels. This one, a fatal gilded high note, and you might see the musical clef on the cover. It's suggestive because my couple, the protagonists of the mysteries, who solve the mysteries, are a couple who go to the opera, the Metropolitan Opera's Diamond Horseshoe, where the very wealthy can sit in a private box. The DeVeres have a box because Roderick, the gentleman of the twosome, is from an old New York family who would never dream of not having a box. He has married a silver heiress from the West who grew up in the Colorado mining towns and camps and was born on Valentine's Day, so her name, Valentine, Val. They are Val and Roddy, and they live at 620 Fifth Avenue in these 1890s. This novel starts on January 2nd, 1899. It has snowed in New York, and their carriage has brought them to the Metropolitan Opera House on 40th Street entrance. Roddy loves the opera. Val likes the arias well enough. They go. They are a couple who, from last summer and then into fall, have found that they have a knack for solving murder cases, with some police detectives' help and with some friends' help. But they themselves, on this January 2nd, the first season in the year, the new year, go to the opera, and it's going to be Mozart's Don Giovanni. Val asks Roddy in the carriage, tell me, are there any murders in the opera? And he has reminded her that in Macbeth and Faust, there are indeed murders, but there's only one in the opera for this evening. And she says, just one measly murder, and they laugh. And little do they know what's about to happen. Because in the box adjacent to theirs, a coal baron has rented for the season and has invited some friends from his past who have a very complicated relation to this man. And by the end of the evening, though the party seems to have left, there's something dark that seeps under the box partition into the DeVere's box. Roddy sees it and he bends down and he touches this dark matter with his kid-gloved hand, holds it up to his face, shows it to Val. She thinks surely it's red wine. Have they been drinking wine? You know what it is. It's blood, because someone has been murdered in the adjacent box. And who is that? And why should the DeVeres care? But I would like now to read a passage, a portion. Everyone who might be interested in a mystery would like to know what it's about and how does it sound. So, this is Val Valentine, and she's introducing herself. And this is still early in the novel. In my western hometown, Virginia City, Nevada, where Roddy and I had met, the operatic drama took place in the streets, not in the opera house. Virginia City was often mistaken for Silver City because big bonanza silver mines enriched a very few beyond most mortals' wildest dreams. The promise of silver, however, lured the violently desperate along with the well-intentioned, such as my late papa, Patrick Mackle, who had emigrated from County Donegal, Ireland, to seek his fortune in the West. When Papa struck his big load and became a Silver King, he moved the two of us to Virginia City and built a Queen Anne revival-style house on B Street and enrolled me in the 4th Ward School. He also hired a prudish widow to teach me ladylike manners for the boom town that boasted newfound sophistication, and in this Papa had meant well. Tempers flared nonetheless into knifings and shootouts in public. Undertakers rivaled doctors for business. Papa spared me the specifics, but the magazine, newspaper, the Territorial Enterprise Daily reported every gory detail. We had no need for onstage grand opera in Virginia City. Our blood was shed in the streets. In this first month of the new year, my past and present were to meet in the versatile word opera. As the bride of a 5th-generation New Yorker, I had entered society with entree to exclusive balls, parties, and whatnot. To this day, however, I got frosty welcomes from Gilded Age New Yorkers, offended that I tarnished their posh doings. My name and birth date prompted snickers behind their china teacups. Valentine Louise Mackle, born on the 14th of February, St. Valentine's Day, in the wastelands of the West. Roddy urged patience, and I wondered aloud why Virginia City should be laughable, or Valentine sillier than Isabel, or Gertrude, or Hermione. No matter, I would forever embrace girlhood in the West, including Piper's Opera House in Virginia City, where I thrilled to melodramas by touring companies from the East and to banjo recitals, variety shows, Irish orators, Shakespeare, songs by a San Francisco contralto, and a demonstration of wrestling with half Nelsons, headlocks, and hip heists. Come rain or shine or snow, come sleet or hail or ankle-deep muddy streets, my late Papa and I took front row seats at Piper's. It all seemed innocent. 2 opera houses, Nevada and New York, both safe spaces for entertainment, and so it was until tonight, for the first Met performance of 1899, when murder burst its bounds to reach the diamond horseshoe in the box beside our own, inside the ill-fated box 18, and brought a black cloud of suspicion down on me. The fact was, if my Roddy had not touched the wet stain darkening the carpet of our box during the 2nd act of Don Giovanni, we would never know a thing was amiss, and over the next months, our lives would have taken a very different turn. Now let me just say, I have been to Virginia City. I have walked those same streets. I visited the building where Mark Twain became a cub reporter on the Territorial Enterprise. I and my husband attended a performance in Piper's Opera House, which is still a going venture, just as it was back in the late 1800s. So I recommend a visit to Virginia City, including the 4th Ward School, where Val went to high school and where she learned ladylike manners in that town. This is just to say that if you write historical fiction, you need to do your research. You ought to visit the places where your action takes place. In this novel, we will find the DeVeres venturing to Palm Beach, to Henry Flagler's Royal Poinciana Hotel. That hotel is not there, but we all know that Palm Beach is much in the news. So, in this Gilded Age, we could venture back a century plus to to the first Gilded Age and see what happens in a fatal gilded high note. Thank you.